So today we're going to talk about a way that you can possibly make $1,000 per month in distribution income using the YieldMax ETFs. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. So we're going to talk about how it's possible to make $1,000 per month in income using the distributions for MSTY, ULTY, HOOY, PLTY, and SMCY. And if each one is paying $1,000 per month, that's a total of $5,000 for all five paying out each month. And we'll see how much you actually have to invest into each one in order to generate that $1,000 per month for each of these five. So let's just go ahead and let's jump right into a little spreadsheet that I've put together, and let's start plugging some numbers. Alright, so here we are on my little spreadsheet, and at the bottom down here you'll notice I do have a total of 5 tabs, and that'll be for each of the ones that we do have, and we will put the information in so you'll see how it's done, and then we'll see how much it's actually generating per month and how much you have to invest. Now for the way I've got this set up is I've got it to show as the last distribution, and I then also have the weighted average distribution. Okay, so when we enter in our distributions into this table over here, it's going to pull the latest distribution and it'll use that for the calculations here. And then it will also calculate a weighted average distribution here, and it will use it to calculate those same values down here, just using that weighted average distribution. So each one's going to give you the total number of shares needed and the total capital that you would have invested, and then it's going to also kick out that income per month, which should be pretty close to that $1,000 per month, and that's what we're looking for each of these, right? So we'll just go ahead and we'll start right off with MSTY as the first one. So for the first part right here, and I've got these little gray cells, and these are really the only information you have to plug in. So the amount that you want to earn per month, and you can put any value in here, but for this one, we're just doing $1,000 each. So I'll just punch in 1,000, and then we'll punch in the ticker symbol, and that ticker symbol for this one will be MSTY, which is MSTY. Okay, now that will automatically kick out that current price of MSTY, and now we need the payout duration. Okay, so I got a little drop down box here, and we know MSTY pays every 4 weeks. Okay, it's not a weekly payer, it's not a monthly payer, it pays every 4 weeks. So that helps to generate what that actually is, because there's 13 payments in a year, right? So you can't quite say that that would be a monthly thing, right? So it's every 4 weeks, which generates 1 extra payment per year. So we'll click every 4 weeks right here, and now we need to plug in the distributions. So where do we get the distributions at? Well, you can get them straight from the website, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so here we are on the YieldMax website, and we are looking at MSTY, and to get those distributions, we just scroll right on down here, and you'll see distribution details right here. And it's pretty simple the way the table is set up. We'll just highlight by holding and dragging all the way down, and once we got them all highlighted, I'll just do a Control-C, and then we'll go right here, and I will just paste them in with the value only because I don't need the format. So paste the values in, and boom, it does the rest of the calculations for you. Now the total number of shares needed, if you are using the latest distribution of that $1.18, you would need 780 shares, and it would take you about $13,930 to get to that 780 shares in order to generate about $1,000 per month at that latest distribution of $1.18. But if you want to use the weighted average, because these YieldMax ETFs are pretty much all over the place. As you can see, $1.18, $1.23, $1.47, $2.37, $1.33, $1.37, $2.02, $2.27, $3. So it just goes on and on, right? It's all over the place. There's a $4 one. So the way the weighted average does is it uses that latest one, gives it a higher weight than the ones on the bottom, right? Or the oldest ones. So that's how it generates the weighted average. And if you're using that as your average for the distribution, then you would only need 449 shares at that $2.05. And that would be a total of about $8,019 of capital needed to generate that $1,000 per month. So whichever one you like to use, you have both of them there. Now, I like to use the weighted because I like more of the average rather than just the latest distribution, right? So this weighted average will change as time goes. It can go up, it can go down, but I like to use it as that overall average, right? So we see that this is about what we'll need of MSTY in order to generate that $1,000 per month. So that gives us the one for MSTY, and now let's do one for ULTY. And we'll just click the second tab and we'll do the same thing. And we want $1,000 and the ticker symbol being ULTY. Now, ULTY is a little bit different as it pays weekly, right? So we'll click weekly here, and now we need the distributions. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go in here under the YieldMax ETFs. We'll scroll right on down to the distribution section. We will highlight all of these, and there's quite a few here. And again, we'll do our little Control C. We'll drop back here, and then we're just going to special paste values only right in here. And boom, there we go. So all the calculations is done for you. Tells you exactly how many shares and how much you would have to invest for each. So using the latest distribution of 10 cents, you would need 2,294 shares. That's $13,534 to give you that $1,000. Now, the weighted average being 18 cents at that 1,234 shares at $7,200, right, to give you that $1,000. But now the difference here is, of course, we know that ULTY has been pretty steady at that 10 cents. But on my summary page where I do take and I do gather all their information, I am gathering it all from the weighted average section here. Okay, so for ULTY, it might be slightly skewed because I am pulling the information for that summary page from the weighted average distributions. So for this one, it might be just slightly skewed, but I think overall you'll get the idea here. Okay, so using that weighted average, you'd need 1,234 shares at that $7,200 of capital invested to earn that $1,000 per month. Okay, so again, there we go. Now let's plug one in for HOOY. That's $1,000 and the ticker symbol being HOY, and HOOY pays out every 4 weeks. And let me go ahead and throw in the distributions right here. And there you go. That's the distributions from the YieldMax website. And therefore, for the latest distribution of $6.89, you would need 134 shares with $9,614 of capital invested to earn that $1,000 per month. Now, using the weighted average of $6.16, you would need 150 shares, and that would mean that you would need to invest about $10,762.50. That would be an income of just over that $1,000 per month. So that's about what you're looking for HOOY in order to earn that $1,000 per month. Let's just go ahead, and we're just speeding right on through this, and let's plug one in for PLTY. And there we go. I went ahead and just did a little bit of magic, and plugged everything right there in just so we can see what those values are. So in order to generate that $1,000 a month on PLTY, and it does pay out every 4 weeks, and if you use the latest distribution of $7.49, you would need 124 shares. That would be an invested amount of $8,365 in order to generate that $1,000 per month. But if you use the weighted average, now you're looking at about $4.84 of distribution on average. That would be 191 shares at $12,884 of capital needed to generate that $1,000 per month. And last but not least, SMCY. So let's plug that in. Okay, and so here we are. I've got all of SMCY plugged in. This is to generate that $1,000 per month. SMCY does pay out every 4 weeks. With that current price now of $16.95 and using the latest distribution of $1.85, you would need 499 shares. That would be a total capital of $8,458 to generate that $1,000 per month. And if we use the weighted average distribution of $1.79, you would need 515 shares. That would be a total capital of $8,729 to generate that $1,000 per month. So there we go. We have entered in all 5 YieldMax ETFs. We've entered in MSTY, ULTY, HOOY, PLTY, and last but not least, SMCY. Now that we've entered in each one into their own tabs, we can look at the summary page right here, and it will gather all the information up for us and spit out a total amount of capital that we would need in order to earn that $1,000 per month for each one, for a total of $5,000 per month. And there we go, right there. MSTY, ULTY, HOOY, PLTY, and SMCY. We're seeing that MSTY currently is at $17.86 per share. We need a total number of shares of 449 shares, and these are using the weighted values as I stated before. And the capital invested that you would need is at $8,019. ULTY has a share price of $5.90, and you would need that 1,234 shares for $7,200 invested. HOOY, $71.75 is the share price. You would need 150 shares and invest a total of $10,762. PLTY, with a $67.46 share price, you would need 191 shares, and the total capital invested would be around $12,884. And of course, SMCY at $16.95, you would need a total number of shares of 515, and of course the capital invested would be around about $8,729 for a grand total of capital needed to invest into all 5 of these would be $47,676.35. Now this value of course does change as the price changes, the distribution amount changes, and so forth, right? But at this current time, you would need $47,676 in order to be able to invest into all 5 of these, and that would generate you that $1,000 per month for a grand total income of $5,000 per month. So what do you think? That's pretty neat, right? I mean, $1,000 per month for MSTY, ULTY, HOOY, PLTY, and SMCY, and to get a total of $5,000 a month for owning these 5 doesn't sound too bad, right? I mean, yes, $47,000, that's a lot of money, but if you can generate $5,000 per month, how many months would it take you in order to recoup your $47,000? And that's an easy little calculation we can do right here. And we can easily just say the $47,676 divided by the 5,000, that's going to give us a total of 9.54. And that is in months, right? Because that is using that $5,000 per month because you're earning $1,000 per ticker, right? So in order to get that back at $5,000 per month, it would take you about 9.5 months, and you will have then gained back all of your money there, that $47,000. And after that, you would be bringing money in free and clear. Now, of course, if you were rolling it back into it, then you would also be increasing that $1,000. And this could be something that you're actually taking that money and using it to pay bills or do whatever you need to do in life, right? Some people are needing it to pay bills, are needing it to just live life. And if you're in that stage, then basically after about 9.5 months, you'll recoup the amount that you spent, and then from there out, it is all free and clear. And that's mainly the reason why I was using the weighted value, right? Because that's more of a overall average. But of course, as those values would drop, you may need to be reinvesting some of the distribution back into the tickers to help beef up those share counts to account for some of the differences in the distribution payouts, right? So the $5,000 per month would not be guaranteed, but the hopes would be that one may be down when maybe the other one might be up, right? But of course, all of this is just for fun and entertainment. Do not take this as guaranteed, right? Nothing in life is guaranteed. But I thought it was pretty interesting just to see. And I was also curious how much you would need in order to generate about $5,000 per month. Because that could be a very nice chunk of change per month that you could use to help live life, right? So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. I enjoyed it because I like to throw around some numbers and I like to play with some what ifs, right? And this here, I guess you can consider it a bit of a what if. What if you could earn $1,000 per month investing just under 50K, right? What that would look like and what could you do with an extra $5,000 per month. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.